Question one is, how does Harvey's stand out from other restaurants?
All right. Well, what we pride ourselves on is consistency. So we have a very clear goal in what we try and achieve. So we don't. We're considered more of a bistro type of restaurant, more so than a fine dining restaurant or a particular, be it a steak restaurant or Asian restaurant. We don't really pigeonhole ourselves into a particular type. We're just a good Australian bistro who pride ourselves on consistency. So we've been here for 11 years now, and we serve it's what's called contemporary Australian food. So we take little bits from Asian cultures, from European cultures, from our own culture to create food, and along also with beverage as well. So our wine list, we offer both European wines, Australian wines, American wines from all over the world. So what makes us different from any other restaurant, I think, is just the fact that we don't sort of go out of our way to try and achieve special awards, or be it chef hats or plates or whatever people are granted. We just look for a very good, consistent product to offer our guests the exact same thing every time they come here.
Awesome.
And we know that your restaurant has lots of different sort of styles. Mm-hmm. So how do you develop and select your menu?
Okay, that's a good question. So with most menu in the world, it all depends on seasonality of vegetables and fruit and vegetables. So some things being available in winter, not available in summer, and vice versa. So we take the best of what we can get in a particular season, and we might have travelled to different parts of the world and have gained ideas from other different chefs. So there's in cooking nowadays, there are very few instances where there's complete originality. And more often than not, those kind of places don't work. So we borrow a lot of our ideas from classic chefs, from recipes that are 90 years old, and also from ideas that we might have seen last week. So, but it's all based around good seasonal produce.
What aspects of your restaurant makes an occasion special?
Okay. Well, personalised service for one. So we have a very, very good core group of regular guests who come here upwards of 2 or 3 times a week. And having looked after them for sort of upwards of 9, 10, 11 years, we'd like to think that the word gets out that if it's known that it's a birthday or a wedding anniversary or what have you, that the people can phone ahead and say, hey, this is what's going on. We'll make sure that we can set up a nice table for them and give them their service extra special attention. And little things like, be it a birthday candle or writing their name on a plate for a happy birthday, little things that make just that little bit of, you go the extra distance to make the night feel a little bit more special.
Also, the next question, what is the process for getting reviews? Like, for example, do you have food critics that come in and try a meal? Or?
Sure. So we not so much nowadays. We in Brisbane, in our early days, we had both myself and the owner, who used to be the chef. Brisbane's sort of quite a small restaurant scene, and so everyone knows who the critics are, be them local or be them John Lethlean, who's the critic for Australia, who has reviewed us. So we tend to know who they are. We don't make the particular occasion any more special than the person sitting next to them. That's the most important thing, in fact, that restaurant critics look out for. They tend to care less about what they're eating and their experience, and they'll look to see the experience around that other people are having around them.
How important do you take food critics and public reviews?
Food critics, very importantly. I think because they're more often than not they're industry peers, so critics are quite often ex-chefs or ex-front of house people. There are a couple of critics who are very good writers, and so we really appreciate the feedback. We appreciate the feedback from everyone. However, things like online reviews, like websites like Yelp and those kind of places, there are a lot of places that take it dead seriously. We tend not to. It's the kind of thing that you can get caught up in and upset about. We know in ourselves that we strive every day to make every single guest's experience special. Sometimes it doesn't happen for whatever reason, and sometimes people feel the need to write negative things about it. And as I say, we don't tend to buy into it too much because you can get lost in it. You can be really upsetting to me or the owner or to a particular waiter or chef that it was pointed out at. Because it can get sometimes personal and nasty, and if you spend too much time worrying about that, you lose focus of the end goal of being that consistent, fun, good experience.
Do you think Australia has a signature food style, and how could Australia improve this?
A signature style?
Like cuisine.
Yeah, sure. It's another good question. I think if you consider a lot of the top end Australian restaurants, they certainly have a very real drive to promote Australian produce. So and I'm not talking sort of indigenous food or bush food or whatnot, but the likes of the strength of our seafood industry and the strength of our beef industry and lamb industry. So I know a lot of the best restaurants focus on doing things like that, and of course provenance as well. So like heroing where if they can find fruit or vegetables from Pacific regions that are better than anywhere else in the world. I know we're big on that, so I don't really think that's specifically unique. I know I try to eat in the United States a lot, and there are a lot of restaurants, especially in the southern parts of the United States, that follow the same sort of rule, which I think is a popular thing. So I quite like knowing where my ingredients come from. So no, I don't think Australia has a very specific, unique sense of cuisine. But as I say, I think that the best best cooks can hero our best produce, be it seafood, beef, lamb, etc., and then use that by incorporating different cultures' foods into it. So be it after the first service, the new staff will know exactly what we expect by way of policies and procedures, so that everybody's on the same page. It's becoming a lot harder. It's the same with cooking, really. So that it's not. When I was in my early 20s, when I first started in this industry, I worked with older European waiters, 50, 55, 60 years old, all they've done their whole life was work in the service industry. And they were very successful. They had lovely families and own houses and fancy cars and all the rest of it. But that's all that they knew. So, but nowadays people tend to. It's not as desired in industries as say banking or law or medicine or jobs along those lines are. So I don't know. I think in the right circumstances, in the right areas, service is still very, very good and very sought after.
Is there any qualifications in which your staff require?
No formal qualifications as such. We ask that any new staff that start with us have worked in a restaurant before. But in saying that, we have had some staff who have started with us polishing cutlery and glasses and working back with us running food, who eventually come to running a section. So no formal qualifications.
And what are some factors that you think can classify a restaurant as high class?
It's a good question. I think I don't know. I think I consider our restaurant to be high class, but we still set tables with a paper napkin and a simple water glass and what have you. And I guess in a general sense, a high class restaurant would start with sitting on a cushioned chair with a table clothed in linen, with well polished silverware, a variety of different size and shape wine glasses. A fine restaurant would have a receptionist, someone to host you to your table. You'd be welcomed by a waiter, then you'd be welcomed by a wine waiter. It might offer both a choice of an a la carte menu, so where you could just choose your own food, or it might offer you a degustation menu where you're offered a menu of upwards of 20-something dishes. I guess you could consider that a fine restaurant.
And finally, do you think your restaurant is a world-class fine dining restaurant, and why?
No, I don't think we never ever try to achieve the status of a fine dining restaurant. We're certainly a world-class bistro. Again, in that we offer a very relaxed, comfortable, clean, modern environment to first sit in. So we try to create an ambience which is very inviting and welcoming and comfortable. And then, of course, we try and follow that through with very good experienced service and exceptional, clean, delicious seasonal food.
Okay.